It's a new day in America where all the poisons in the supermarket days are numbered. Surprise, mother effer, as RFK Jr. is now the head of HHS. This, as after he was just announced a couple days ago, we now have a new bat coronavirus from the bat lady herself from the Wuhan Institute of Virology. What's going on here? As of course, Bill Gates warned, you cut off my funding, lots of people are going to die. What did it mean by that? As now we have an Ebola scare. We have huge record egg prices because of bird flu. Other talks about forcing procedures on because of this bird flu. Well, that's exactly what we are going to be discussing here, as RFK Jr. is a man on a mission to get rid of the fats, to keep America healthy, and to deal with our larger health crisis, which is a major one. You look around. Lots of people out of shape, lots of people dealing with obesity, diabetes, cancers, illnesses, sicknesses in record numbers. And the modern scientific community is like, whoa, I don't know. What's going on here? They don't have any answers here. And enter RFK Jr., someone who for so many years on end now has been warning us about damaging our environment, destroying our food and water supply. And now he is in a position of power to actually do something about it, as his first two major bombshell actions was to stop the promotion of a failed procedure that Yale University scientists just concluded to a new syndrome that is causing, quote, distinct biological changes to the body. What does this mean? We're going to tell you about it in just a little bit, as RFK Jr. now allegedly has mainstream doctors terrified. Good. All the mainstream doctors are bought off shelves of the big pharma industry and all the industries that they purport to, of course, regulate and work against, when in reality, they're all working behind the scenes, as doctors are just as easily bought off as your politicians. We realized that lesson, especially in 2020 and 2021, specifically when a lot of scientists, a lot of doctors, a lot of medical professionals that came forward and said, hey, what we're doing here is wrong. We're fired. They lost their licenses. They were ostracized in mainstream society while, of course, being censored by big tech social media that worked in collusion with the CIA, that had, of course, their fingerprints, their funding with USAID money through EcoHealth Alliance and Dr. Fauci, literally making the sickness that doctors who were trying to treat were being fired for. What's left now is a medical landscape where only the brown nosers, only the people who didn't question the science. You're supposed to question the science, okay? That's the scientific method. It's the first thing, questioning it. What's your hypotheses, okay? Let's actually run through the scientific method here, buddy. They didn't do that. They just said, just tell me what to say, tell me what procedure to force on people. And now RFK Jr. is banning the advertisements of this procedure that, according to a lot of people, has injured them tremendously. He has also shut down meetings of key advisors for this procedure, as of course, you still, I remember just even a couple days ago, I was listening to the radio as I was driving my car, and there was a promotion saying, yeah, we're going to give you the procedure. We got this procedure. You should call here, get the procedure. And I'm like, this was probably funded by USAID money. What? This is probably funded by my money. Why are we doing this? It looks like RFK Jr. just ended that, as he has a long history of actually talking about common sense things, just like the Hep B shot, that, again, it's pointless for babies. Now, you can make an argument, specifically if the mother has this specific sickness, that, yeah, maybe you should take this kind of procedure here, but other than that, there's a long history of the industry creating this, and then the CDC saying, don't worry, we'll recommend it for children, even though there's no scientific basis for it. RFK Jr. now is going to be exploring that scientific basis. He's going to be exploring the necessities for a lot of stuff in our society that I would argue, and in my opinion, is absolutely hurting and obliterating people's health. And he is now in the position to actually do something about it. He has been warning us about individuals like Bill Gates that have worked and cooperated with China extensively on a lot of very kind of weird projects, scientific experiments that, of course, were not allowed here in the United States, but were allowed in international territories with foreign governments that, skirted the rules and allowed larger kind of biological projects to be conducted when they were illegally not able to be conducted here inside of the United States. As Bill Gates, within the last few days, has been kind of freaking out. He's been doing a corporate media tour where he's saying, hey guys, scaling back USAID money will literally cost millions of lives. Millions of deaths are going to come here. I'm like, wait, hold on a minute. Oh, your organizations, your institutions are getting that USAID money. So you're essentially saying, give me money or millions of people are going to die. Really, how very convenient. As today, we have a Chinese team, including the famous bat lady that was responsible for the 2020 and 2021 plague, coming out and saying, oh no, we just found out and developed and did gain-of-function research showing that there's a new coronavirus that was just developed. And this Batwoman that a lot of people point the finger at for working and creating and making the first coronavirus in this lab in Wuhan is saying, there's a new one. We have a new one today. How very timely of her to make this discovery, as Newsweek has this article that reads, new coronavirus discovered in Chinese bats sparks alarm. Why is it sparking alarm? Because, again, there's hundreds of coronaviruses out there, but only a few of them exist that could affect human beings. This is a new one that affects human beings. It is being called HKU5-CoV2. Doesn't really roll off the tongue there as COVID-19, but Chinese researchers led by the Batwoman. How is this Batwoman still in charge? How is it? Maybe they still have some kind of larger funding here that we're paying for here, but still, she is denying having anything to do with a lab leak. As we know, the CIA even came out and said, yeah, it was probably a lab leak under the new leadership that Donald Trump just appointed. And we had the Senate come out and say this. We had a number of scientists, virologists saying, yeah, it's not a coincidence that the place that this sickness originated in was just the same exact place that scientists were literally engineering it to be as lethal as possible. So, yeah, some very serious questions remain here as the groundwork is already being laid to blame RFK Jr. and Elon Musk for a next potential pandemic. Before talking about that and the larger schemes here, we wanted to remind people to support this independent media network by supporting themselves on wearechange.shop. We got a lot of great supplements available to you. I strongly recommend everyone go to your medical doctor, get your blood work done, whether it's an AI reading your blood work or whatever it is. Make sure that you understand what's happening within your own system, and then you probably will have to supplement. Most people have to, because our modern food is just completely destroyed through factory farming and all these other larger predatory practices by industry insiders that have paid off regulators that have essentially allowed to poison our food supply. This is why I created my own supplement line, because I take a lot of supplements, and it's been very difficult trying to find actually good supplements out there. And I made sure to have some of the best in the business. You could use promo code WRCVIP, get $10 off of your purchase all February long. You can sign up to our email list too and get a discount. But we got a lot of great stuff like magnesium glycinate. Specifically, if you're looking for things to help your athletic performance, you got to get active. You got to get busy. Go for a walk. Watch this video. Put this video in your phone. Put in headphones, and then just walk. Seriously, try to get some exercise. Try to do a standing desk. Try to make sure you're going to be as active as possible here, since we're dealing with a full frontal assault on free humanity. Magnesium glycinate helps you get a lot of rest, a lot of recovery, and helps out your nervous systems. Most people's nervous systems are fried, and my nervous system was fried. I used to get anxiety, panic attacks. I used to freak out. I used a combination of a lot of things to fix it, mainly your gut, but then also exercising, supplementation, things like magnesium glycinate has helped me out tremendously. It's here on my desk. I take it with the last meal of my day. Something that is absolutely great. Make sure to always do your due diligence. Make sure to always do your homework. Make sure you always make the right decisions for yourself, as this is some really great stuff. Get it at wearechange.shop and support this independent media network at the same time, as of course the conversation now continues with the landscape being shaped for a potential, probably, whether it's deliberate or accidental, new global sickness that will be taken over. As of course, when I'm seeing these news headlines and I'm seeing already the finger wagging When I'm seeing Bill Gates say millions are going to die, there's going to be a new one. When we're seeing The Guardian and all these other publications be like, RFK Jr., he's going to hurt people. Elon Musk is firing people at AHS, at the CDC. Oh my God, why is he doing this? What are you hyping people up for? That's my larger question here, as still there is larger fallout from the last sickness, and the last procedure that you guys promised if you would take would go away, but only increased and created more, in my opinion, a bigger, larger sickness that people had to deal with. As, of course, it was a leaky procedure that was forced on everyone, and it was done through, of course, very mysterious ways, as the scientific studies were rigged. They were bought off. Lots of people that had adverse effects just deleted. Well, oh, you're not in the data. Favorable results, yeah, those to the front of the line. Unfavorable results, they just hid those. And then they sent it off to the media, and the media regurgitated their lies. Now, Yale scientists are finding that there's a new syndrome that's causing distinct biological changes in the human body, as they're reporting how a lot of people who have Epstein-Barr syndrome are having resurfacing of symptoms with the larger correlation of them taking this procedure. Now, this is big, because Epstein-Barr syndrome emerges in people who have weak immune systems. Why were their immune systems weakened when they were tinkered with this artificial gene therapy that we are still finding out the true ramifications of? And it's pretty clear here that a lot of the people that did take the procedure were larger scientific experiments. There were no long-term studies, and now we're doing those long-term studies with actual subjects, and we're finding that some people are being left disabled because of this product. Yes, lots of horrible stories, specifically with this woman, Linda A's, who was a professional athlete, 31. Now she's injured because of this procedure, according to medical professionals, as reported by the Daily Mail, and now has to be in a wheelchair. Sad. Tragic story, as there's a lot of these particular stories. Here's Dr. Trevor Kaler, a biology professor in Minnesota, who was an avid mountain biker. And he developed some very serious symptoms that have altered and changed his health forever. And there's a lot of these stories. We have an outdated system that collects the data on a lot of these individuals that can't really be trusted. RFK Jr. is upending and changing that dramatically, as there's a lot of victims from this, including even Elon Musk and J.D. Vance, as Elon Musk just tweeted not so long ago, specifically February 19th, 2 days ago, 5:30 a.m., saying, I had a similar experience to J.D. Vance. We're going to talk about J.D. Vance in a little bit, saying, yeah, I got sick, and then I decided to take the procedure. It hurt my arm. Then I took the booster, and I had massive chest pain. I felt like I got hit by a truck, almost went to the hospital. And then he says, yeah, mRNA still has a lot of potential to potentially cure other diseases. Research should continue. But it should continue in a cautionary way where we don't use our human population as guinea pigs. As J.D. Vance specifically reports how he took the procedure himself, how previously he, didn't really care, just kind of took it, and then became the sickest that he has been in the last 15 years. And he reported this right after taking the procedure. He said that he had the sickness 5 times and was in bed for 2 days. His heart was racing, and a lot of people report going through the same illnesses and sicknesses right after taking this procedure that medical professionals didn't even ask if the person who was taking this procedure for a sickness, if they potentially already had the sickness. Because if you already had the sickness, you had natural immunity. That natural immunity was messed with an implementation of spike proteins that, created a very big adverse effect for a lot of people. And those are the larger reports here. People who got sick, then built up a natural immunity, and then took a procedure to allegedly build up their natural immunity. There was some kind of conflict here, and then they dealt with their immune systems being hindered and hurt in some kind of larger, extensive ways. What's going to be the long-term kind of problems associated with this 15 years down the line? I don't know, but it's not looking good so far for some of the people that have taken this procedure and dealt with illnesses. Now, exactly how many? Our system is so our system is so stupid that there's really no accurate, real way to kind of calculate this. The way that we're calculating this is absolutely nonsensical. Some people, claim that the VAERS database solid. It's not. The way that you have to do everything, the number of hoops that you have to jump through, just nonsensical. It doesn't make any sense at all. As of course, what RFK Jr. is doing right now is good. It's needed. Mainstream doctors paid off by a big lobbyist. They're pissed off. Good. They should be. Their paychecks are about to run out here. And him stopping the promotion of this until we find out exactly what's going on here is absolutely the right move to make here. Now, I don't mean to fearmonger, but again, we have a lot of scares with Ebola, as Uganda just announced that they have contained their larger Ebola outbreak. Ebola was just ruled out in a New York City urgent care where hazmat crews were called since there was a fear that this was the norovirus in action in New York City and could have affected a lot of people. Now there's larger conversations about using procedures to help deal with the bird flu that magically the people of Mexico are not dealing with for some strange reason, as eggs in Mexico still extremely cheap, but somehow here in the United States, there seems to be larger problems with chickens, with eggs, and this larger bird flu fear that some people are taking very seriously. As Axios has a very interesting article saying that the drug industry sees partnership with Trump and RFK Jr., and then in the byline reads, the problem is that Kennedy doesn't seem to be buying it. Yeah, I wouldn't either, since they don't have the best track record of actually giving a damn and caring about a lot of the people here. And I think if RFK Jr. is going to be doing anything, I think he needs to bring justice towards all the people that didn't take the procedure. I think he needs to give justice for all the people that did take the procedure. I think he needs to give justice related to this larger kind of pandemic that was released that affected so many different people. And I think there definitely needs to be a larger kind of retributional act where a lot of the mainline doctors that were fired and lost their licenses or at least given a pathway to be brought back and at least maybe even given some back pay. There needs to be some care and consideration and some liability for the people that were fired for trying to actually save lives, that could have saved lives, but were prevented from doing so because of this draconian medical healthcare system that was more concerned about selling you a product, forcing you to take it, rather than actually caring and considering your personal health and well-being. I hope this video does okay on YouTube. If it doesn't, it's probably because of the censors. Share this video. It means a lot to us. Get some supplements. Take care of your health. Do your own research. Get your blood work done. Seriously, people's health are just absolutely wild. I just did my blood test. I'm going to be talking about the results on lukeunfiltered.com. Stay tuned for that and a lot more, all here exclusively on youtube.com/wearechange.